A little black girl ran screaming to a biker club booth at the carnival, tears streaming down her face. "They took my brother," she cried, pointing at a silver SUV speeding away. What she didn't know, the men she'd just begged for help hadn't ridden into a fight in years. But for her, they were about to break every rule they'd made to stay out of trouble. The smell of kettle corn and motor oil hung thick in the late morning air at the Riverton Harvest Carnival. Jake Hawk Morrison wiped sweat from his brow. As he flipped another burger on the smoking grill, the Iron Riders logo on his leather vest catching the sunlight. Around him, a dozen members of his motorcycle club manned the food booth. They'd volunteered to run as part of their new community outreach program. "Think the sheriff's impressed yet?" Tommy Wrench Valdez called out, handing a snow cone to a gap-toothed kid who couldn't stop staring at the row of gleaming Harleys. Parked behind them, Hawk smirked. "Don't care if he is, we're doing this for us." Not for him, it had been 3 years since the Iron Riders shifted from their rough past to becoming what Hawk called a brotherhood with purpose. They still rode hard, still wore their colors with pride. But now they organized charity events, escorted fallen veterans, and showed up when the community needed muscle for the right reasons. A small crowd of kids surrounded Diesel, their biggest member, a 6'5" wall of tattoos and graying beard, who was patiently explaining the parts of his customized soft ale. Parents snapped photos smiling instead of pulling their children away. Progress Hawk Bear Johnson, their road captain, jogged over from the parking lot, his face unusually pale beneath his dark skin. "We got a situation," before Hawk could respond. A high-pitched scream cut through the carnival noise. "Help, somebody help." Every head turned. A little black girl, no more than 8 or 9, was sprinting toward their booth. Her sundress torn at the hem, tight braids flying behind her. Tears streamed down her flushed face. She stumbled over her own feet, nearly falling before Wrench caught her. "Whoa, hey!" "You're okay," Wrench said gently, kneeling to her level. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" The girl gasped for air between sobs, her small fists clutching Wrench's leather vest. They took my brother." "They took Jamal." Hawk was at her side in 2 strides. The spatula forgotten on the grill. "Who took him when just now?" She pointed a shaking finger toward the far end of the parking lot. "2 men, they grabbed him and put him in a silver car. I tried to stop them, but silver SUV." Bear interrupted, his jaw tight, tinted windows. The girl nodded frantically. It had a sticker on the back window. A skull with snake eyes. Hawk's blood ran cold. He exchanged a look with Bear. Every biker in earshot had gone rigid. "The serpents, which way?" Hawk demanded. Already moving there, the girl pointed again. Through the maze of parked cars, Hawk caught a flash of silver metal, a Suburban with custom rims peeling out toward the exit. "Diesel, clutch eyes on that SUV." Hawk barked. His men moved instantly, some grabbing helmets, others already running for the bikes. The girl was still sobbing, but something about her face nagged at Hawk's memory. He'd seen those brown eyes before. Then it clicked. "Wait." He gripped her shoulders carefully. "What's your last name, honey?" "Coleman, Aisha Coleman." Hawk's stomach dropped. "Rick's daughter." She nodded, confused. "You know, my dad, Rick Coleman. One of their own, or had been until 5 years ago, when he'd left the club to go straight. Married his high school sweetheart. Had 2 kids, took a job at the lumber mill. A clean exit, no bad blood. He'd wanted a better life for his family, and the Iron Riders respected that. But the serpents had long memories. "Bear, call Rick." Now Hawk pulled out his phone. Already dialing 911. Wrench. "Stay with Aisha, everyone else mount up, Hawk." "If we chase them," Clutch started. "I know what it means," Hawk snapped. Going after the serpent's people was declaring war. But his code was simple. You don't take kids ever. That boy's father rode with us. We don't leave our own behind. Even the ones who got out. The operator answered 911. What's your emergency? This is Jake Morrison at the Riverton Carnival grounds. There's been a kidnapping. 8-year-old boy taken by force. Silver Chevy Suburban partial plate. Charlie Romeo 7. Heading east on County Road 14 and... He'd caught the partial plate as the SUV fishtailed around the exit. Years of training never left you. Armed suspects gang-related. We're pursuing until your units arrive, sir. I need you to stay at the scene. Not happening. Send units to the east side. We'll keep visual contact. He hung up before she could argue. Bear sprinted back, phone pressed to his ear. Rick's not answering. His wife says he's at the job site in Riverside. Get him on the line. Tell him we're on it. Hawk grabbed his helmet from his bike. Around him, engines roared to life. A thunderous chorus of V-twins that made the ground vibrate. 13 bikers, hardened men who'd been through hell and back. All of them ready to ride into danger for a kid most of them had never met. Because that's what brothers did. Aisha grabbed Hawk's arm, her tear-stained face looking up at him with desperate hope. You'll get Jamal back, promise. Hawk didn't make promises he couldn't keep, but he saw his own daughter's face in hers. The same age, same innocence. He knelt down, his voice firm. We're not stopping until he's home safe. She threw her thin arms around his neck, hugging tight. Thank you. Wrench gently pulled her back. Come on, kiddo. Let's get you somewhere safe. Hawk mounted his Road King, the weight familiar and comforting. His radio crackled, every rider on the same channel. Now this is Hawk 3 teams. Bear, your Team Alpha. Direct pursuit, Clutch, your Bravo. Parallel streets cut off escape routes. Diesel, you're Charlie. Traffic and intel, we keep this clean and controlled. No heroics, no violence unless they start it. We're buying time for the cops, but that kid comes first. Questions. Negative. Boss came the unified response. Then let's ride. 13 motorcycles thundered out of the carnival grounds in formation, leaving behind shocked carnival goers and one little girl, who watched them disappear, still whispering a prayer for her brother. Behind them, Hawk's burger burned, forgotten on the grill, smoke rising into the late morning sky like a signal flare. The chase was on the eastern highway, blurred beneath Hawk's wheels, as 13 motorcycles roared through late morning traffic. Cars swerved aside, some honking in protest, others pulling over instinctively at the sight of the leather-clad convoy. Alpha Team, I got visual. Bear's voice crackled through Hawk's helmet radio. Silver Suburban quarter-mile ahead, weaving through traffic near exit 47. Copy that, Bravo Team. Where are you? Hawk throttled forward. His Road King eating up asphalt. Taking Riverside Parkway, Clutch responded. If he stays on this route, we'll intercept at the Miller Street junction. Charlie Team holding position at the overpass. Diesel added, got eyes on everything from up here. Hawk, you got company. 2 sport bikes just joined the Suburban. Looks like they called for backup. Hawk's jaw tightened. The Serpents were already mobilizing. This wasn't just a kidnapping anymore. It was a message. But what message? Rick had been out of the life for 5 years. Why come after his kid now? All teams maintain distance. Hawk ordered. We're not trying to be heroes. Just keep them in sight until his phone buzzed against his chest. He risked a glance at the screen mounted on his handlebars. Rick Coleman, Bear. Take point. Everyone stay on mission. Hawk answered the call, keeping his voice steady despite the wind roaring past. Rick, what the hell is happening? Rick's voice was raw, panicked. Maria just told me she's hysterical. Jamal's gone. The Serpents took Jamal. We're on them right now. County Road 14 heading toward the industrial district. I'm 20 minutes out. Rick, listen to me. Hawk cut through a gap between 2 semis, never losing sight of Bear's tail, Light ahead. We've got this policer on the way. You need to stay with Maria and Aisha right now. That's my son. Rick's voice cracked. My 8-year-old boy is in a car with those animals because of me. Because of what, Rick? Why would they target Jamal after all this time? Silence, just the sound of Rick's ragged breathing. And a truck engine in the background. Rick, I testified. Rick finally said, his voice hollow. 3 months ago, federal case against Marcus Viper Santana. I didn't tell anyone because I thought it was sealed. I thought my family was safe. Viper Santana, president of the Serpents, currently awaiting trial for racketeering, weapons trafficking, and murder. If Rick had testified against him, they found out, Hawk said quietly. This morning, Viper's lawyer called me, said the prosecution accidentally leaked witness names in a filing. He said Viper wanted me to know that debts get paid. I thought he was bluffing. I thought his voice broke completely. I didn't think they'd actually hurt my kids. Hawk's knuckles went white on the handlebars. This wasn't about old club beef. This was retaliation. A father being punished through his child. Where are you right now? Riverside construction site. I'm getting on my bike, your bike. Hawk's eyes widened. You still have the Dina. Never sold, it couldn't. A pause, I'm coming, Hawk. I don't care what you say. Then you follow my orders. We do this smart or that boy dies, understood. Another pause, longer this time. When Rick spoke again, his voice had changed, harder. Colder, the voice of the man who used to ride beside them, understood. Send me your location. The call ended. Hawk immediately radioed the group. Listen up, Rick's joining us. This just got personal. He testified against Viper in federal court. This is a revenge play. Whistles and curses filled the channel. That changes things, Bear said grimly. If Viper ordered this, they're not just grabbing the kid. For a joyride, they're sending him back piece by piece. Not if we get there first. Hawk spotted the Suburban, now 3 cars ahead, in the right lane. The 2 escort bikes flanked it like guard dogs. Bear, I got visual? You see the escorts? Yeah, young guys, probably prospects trying to earn their patch. They look nervous. Good nervous meant inexperienced. Inexperienced meant mistakes. The Suburban suddenly swerved left, cutting across 2 lanes and taking an exit ramp. At the last second, the escort bikes followed. Tires squealing, he's bailing off the highway. Bear shouted, taking Hammond Boulevard exit. Bravo team intercept. Hawk leaned into the turn, following the exodus down the ramp. The Suburban was heading into the warehouse district. Narrow streets, lots of corners. Easy to lose a tail were easy to set an ambush. Charlie team, get down here. Hawk ordered, we need eyes on all sides. The chase descended into the maze of industrial buildings. Graffitied walls flew past. Broken glass crunched under tires. The Suburban ran a red light, nearly boning a delivery van. Horns blared. The escort bikes split up, one staying with the SUV, the other falling back toward the pursuing bikers. We got a blocker, Bear warned. The Serpent prospect couldn't be more than 22, positioned his sport bike sideways across the narrow street. Engine revving, he wasn't armed. But his message was clear. Back off, didn't slow down. At the last second, the prospect's nerve broke and he jerked his bike aside. Nearly dropping it, the Iron Riders blew past him like a storm. Suburban turning on 7th Clutch's voice. We're coming up on your left. Hawk saw it unfold like a choreographed dance. The Suburban hooked a hard right on 7th Street. Clutch and his team emerged from a parallel street, perfectly timed to continue the pursuit. The SUV accelerated, but now it had bikers ahead and behind. He's boxed, Diesel called out. Next right takes him toward the River District. Dead ends everywhere, the driver knew it too. The Suburban's brake lights flashed. As it fishtailed around another corner, desperate now, Then Hawk saw where they were heading. The old pier bridge, single lane each direction. Half a mile long, only 2 ways off the entrance and the exit. A trap waiting to be sprung all